Our top story, more details from the Pentagon about Saturday's U.S. strikes in Iran. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs and Secretary of Defense sharing background on what they say was a years-long operation that led to these strikes. KTVU's Tori Gaines is here to tell us more about what happened.
Good afternoon, Andre. Yeah, Secretary Hegseth is calling the U.S. strikes in Iran a historic success. In a Pentagon briefing this morning that was contentious at times, he was joined by the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, who described the more than a decade-long journey to develop the bomb that made it all possible. A Thursday morning Pentagon briefing is giving us the first close look at the Iran strikes, a military operation that the Department of Defense is calling a historic success.
The reality is you want to call it destroyed, you want to call it defeated, you want to call it obliterated. Choose your word. This was an historically successful attack, and we should celebrate it as Americans, and it gives us a chance to have peace.
Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Caine, described the years of research that led to the development of the GBU-57, the 30,000-pound bomb known as a bunker buster, which was used in Saturday's strike against Iran's nuclear sites.
You do not build a multi-layered underground bunker complex with centrifuges and other equipment in a mountain for any peaceful purpose.
In 2009, an American, who the chairman did not name for safety reasons, was shown photos of a construction project in Iran. After determining the area would be used to create nuclear materials, that unidentified person realized our country did not have a weapon strong enough to destroy the site. So the U.S. got to work on developing a more powerful bomb.
They weren't able to discuss this with their family, their wives, their kids, their friends, but they just kept grinding it out.
That's when the GBU-57 was born.
They accomplished hundreds of test shots and dropped many full-scale weapons against extremely realistic targets for a single purpose: kill this target at the time and place of our nation's choosing.
The administration maintains Iran's nuclear capabilities were destroyed in the attacks, but an early assessment from the Defense Intelligence Agency says there is low confidence that some uranium had been moved out of Fordo before the strikes. And Thursday morning, Iran's supreme leader claiming a victory over Israel on an Iranian state television broadcast, saying, quote, "The Islamic Republic was victorious and in retaliation delivered a hand slap to America's face," unquote. Secretary Hegseth pushing back in that Pentagon briefing.
I would say Iran's going to have to say a lot of things right now in order to bolster their image, especially internally. You know, in the media, there's a lot of things they'll say for domestic consumption. But we're watching very closely what they do.
Now, the secretary was asked outright by reporters if enriched uranium had potentially been moved from Fordo before the U.S. strike. He says at this time he has seen no intelligence which suggests that this strike did not successfully hit its intended targets, Andre.
Yeah, and still no word yet on whether this uranium program continues to be enriched in Iran, something we'll continue to watch out for. Tori, thank you so much. None of this story here locally. The Trump